Your time is the most precious thing in this world.
Instinct is a makeshift, an admission of helplessness before the problem of reality.
Read books, care about things, get excited. Try not to be too down on yourself. Enjoy the ever-present game of knowing.
Tongues in trees, books in running brooks, sermons in stones, and good in everything.
Any war that requires the suspension of reason as a necessity for support is a bad war. And I remembered something else that makes us human. Faith, the only weapon in our arsenal to battle doubt. Miracles don't just happen. You have to work to succeed. You have to have an achievable dream. Humility is nothing but truth, and pride is nothing but lying. Give it your all, because greatness awaits those who rise to the occasion with unwavering determination. Intelligence is more important than strength. That is why Earth is ruled by men and not by animals. There's no backward and no forward, no day other than this. You fill your cart as you go, and that's that. There are 1,000 reasons to live this life. Every one of them is sufficient. How many things would you attempt if you knew you could not fail?
If you only shine light on your flaws, all your perfects will dim. Those who win never give up. Those who give up never win.
You cannot teach a man anything. You can only help him find it within himself. The best view comes after the hardest climb. We are not leaving anyone behind. We have to stick together in order to stay safe. A thing worth having is a thing worth cheating for. War is not just the shower of bullets and bombs from both sides. It is also the shower of blood and bones on both sides. Facts are like cows. If you look them in the face long enough, they generally run away. We often think of failure as a negative experience, but it can teach us so much if we are open to learning from it. I have so much to share with the world. Please be patient, and you will get everything you're currently waiting for. The world should have been in Technicolor, but seemed more like black and white. To be successful, you have to be out there. You have to hit the ground running. One of the most healing things you can do is recognize where in your life you are your own poison. The pure present is an ungraspable advance of the past devouring the future. In truth, all sensation is already memory.
Over time, hidden truths morph in the dark soil of deceit into something much worse.
Things will get easier. People's minds will change, and you should be alive to see it. We are at our most powerful the moment. We no longer need to be powerful.
There is no such thing as a great talent without great willpower.
Be a lamp, or a lifeboat, or a ladder. Help someone's soul heal. Walk out of your house like a shepherd. The hardest battle you are ever going to have to fight is the battle to be just you. Discussion is impossible with someone who claims not to seek the truth, but already to possess it. Arrival in the world is really a departure, and that which we call departure is only a return.
The truths that matter most to us come always half-spoken.
It's a big world, but we are small. Every little thing matters a lot.
Truth often sacrificed for the sake of stability and peace.
If we try to measure, now we find it's always gone, has become part of the past. We come spinning out of nothingness, scattering stars like dust. You don't have to be great to get started, but you have to get started to be great.
It isn't where you came from. It's where you're going that counts. Focus on the step in front of you, not the whole staircase. It is only possible to live happily ever after on a daily basis.
I can learn to live with guilt. I don't care about being good.
Never argue with stupid people. They will drag you down to their level and then beat you with experience. Stand in the divine rain, and seeds of wisdom will grow in your soul. Vote for the man who promises least. He'll be the least disappointing. Talent hits a target no one else can hit. Genius hits a target no one else can see.
But this wealth of information produced little or no insight. Common sense, in an uncommon degree, is what the world calls wisdom. I want to keep my dreams, even bad ones, because without them I might have nothing all night long.
Being born is like being kidnapped and then sold into slavery.
The selfish man suffers more from his selfishness than he from whom that selfishness withholds some important benefit. It was not the feeling of completeness I so needed, but the feeling of not being empty. Temptation is the feeling we get when encountered by an opportunity to do what we innately know we shouldn't. Here's to freedom, cheers to art, here's to having an excellent adventure, and may the stopping never start.
Only he who has no use for the empire is fit to be entrusted with it.
Truth is not something outside to be discovered. It is something inside to be realized. In order to make a precise decision, keep a steady spiritual connection.
One mistake does not have to rule a person's entire life.
The truth is not for all men, but only for those who seek it. The things hardest to bear are sweetest to remember. Don't dwell on things. Don't stay in one place too long. It was the only way to stay ahead of sadness.
Life is fragile. We're not guaranteed a tomorrow, so give it everything you've got.
You often feel tired, not because you've done too much, but because you've done too little of what sparks a light in you.
It's not the men in your life that matters. It's the life in your men. It is better to fail in originality than to succeed in imitation. Decide what you want to be, pay the price, and be what you want to be. Waiting for changing opinions is like waiting for nothing. The essence of being human is that one does not seek perfection. Everything takes time. Bees have to move very fast to stay still.
The secret of life, though, is to fall 7 times and to get up 8 times. Some things aren't meant to be known, only believed. I scream for everything that has gone wrong. I scream for everything broken in our lives. This is how you start to get respect, by offering something that you have. If you only write when inspired, you may be a fairly decent poet. You'll never be a novelist. To know that we know what we know, and to know that we do not know what we do not know, that is true knowledge. Books didn't make me wallow in darkness. Darkness made me wallow in books.
If thinking should precede acting, then acting must succeed thinking. Imagining something is better than remembering something. If you always want the validation of others, you won't grow beyond people's expectations. When the position is such that neither side will gain by making the first move, it is called temporizing ground. The world is already full of critics. To stand out, be an encourager.
A dream you dream alone is only a dream. A dream you dream together is reality. Life can only be understood backwards, but it must be lived forwards. Becoming well known is the most valuable element in the connection process. You couldn't erase everything that caused you pain with recollection. Every memory was valuable, even the bad ones. Don't tell me about your God with your words. Show me about your God with your actions. You never know when the truth will come home. You can't choose the time. The time chooses you. I don't know why we are here, but I'm pretty sure that it is not in order to enjoy ourselves.
Your worth consists in what you are and not in what you have.
When we cannot find the good things that we're looking for, let the good things that are looking for us find us. I speak to everyone in the same way, whether he is the garbage man or the president of the university.
Your vision will be blurry, but it will grow clear with time.
My past has not defined me, destroyed me, deterred me, or defeated me. It has only strengthened me. There is nothing impossible to they who will try. If anyone on the verge of action should judge himself according to the outcome, he would never begin. Time is my friend when it doesn't let the bad moments stay, but it becomes my enemy when it lets the good moments pass by. Those who grant sympathy to guilt grant none to innocence. An ability to look into the confusing mess of life and see things for what they are. Proclaim the truth and do not be silent through fear.
Forget what hurts you, but never forget what it taught you. Never curse a fall. The ground is where humility lives. I very rarely think in words at all. A thought comes, and I may try to express it in words afterwards. Don't let what you cannot do interfere with what you can do.
The harder you work, the luckier you will get. All our knowledge has its origin in our perceptions. I had a dream about you last night. You were a giant slinky, and I watched you fall down the stairs. Stress is a consequence of negative happenings or impact in life, but important is how to overcome it.
Weakness of attitude becomes weakness of character.
There isn't enough of anything as long as we live, but at intervals a sweetness appears and given a chance prevails. If you choose them right, they can open any heart and shut any mouth. Feeling beautiful has nothing to do with what you look like. Promise. I don't like people around me sad. I like making people happy. Life is a dream from which we all must wake before we can dream again. Walk at your own pace. Don't run after others because your journey may not be the same.
Money is better than poverty, if only for financial reasons.
You have to be the bravest person in the world to go out every day, being yourself when no one likes who you are. It's not unpatriotic to denounce an injustice committed on our behalf. Perhaps it's the most patriotic thing we can do.
Even in the loneliest moments, I have been there for myself. Be mindful, be grateful, be positive, be true, be kind.
The most incomprehensible thing about the world is that it is comprehensible.
Only those people create history who doesn't live in the future. Cherish those who seek the truth, but beware of those who find it.
Trees that are slow to grow bear the best fruit. That's the thing about life. A lot of the time, it isn't easy at all. We just have to try to make the best of it. Teachers are the one and only people who save nations. People make mistakes in life through believing too much, but they have a damn dull time if they believe too little. One must work and dare if one really wants to live. A creative life cannot be sustained by approval any more than it can be destroyed by criticism.
Faithless is he that says farewell when the road darkens.
Each man should frame life so that at some future hour fact and his dreaming meet.
He who controls others may be powerful, but he who has mastered himself is mightier still.
Berterima kasihlah pada segala yang memberi kehidupan.
Silence is a true friend who never betrays.
Art and life are subjective. Not everybody's gonna dig what I dig, but I reserve the right to dig it. I assess the power of a will by how much resistance, pain, torture it endures and knows how to turn to its advantage. No single event can awaken within us a stranger whose existence we had never suspected. To live is to be slowly born. Violence is spiritual junk food, and boredom is spiritual anorexia. Fitness is vital for sports person. I never take it for granted. My fitness mantra is healthy eating and daily exercise. Don't judge each day by the harvest you reap, but by the seeds that you plant. It is difficult, when faced with a situation you cannot control, to admit you can do nothing.
You know, the minute you stop thinking about it, it'll happen.
The world needs your unique path. Chart it fearlessly.
A kingdom that has once been destroyed can never come again into being, nor can the dead ever be brought back to life.
Imagine no limitations. Decide what's right and desirable before you decide what's possible. Victories that come cheap are cheap. Those only which are worth having come as the result of hard fighting. Too many of us are not living our dreams because we are living our fears. Words are your paintbrush, and your life is the canvas. You can paint whatever you want to paint. The healing man left me a wee bit broken so I could understand.
The superior man thinks always of virtue. The common man thinks of comfort. To be alone is to be different. To be different is to be alone. The king is only fond of words and cannot translate them into deeds.
When life gives us challenges, they are opportunities to grow, just like storms feed the plants and give us rainbows. Never tolerate disrespect, not even from yourself. Life is not complex. We are complex. Life is simple, and the simple thing is the right thing. Know that true change is demonstrated only by your actions around everyone, not just certain people. It is easier to be wise for others than for ourselves.
Sometimes you recognize truth because it destroys you for a bit.
Don't always wish to be like others. Always aspire to be better than them. One way of looking at speech is to say that it is a constant stratagem to cover nakedness.
Now I know what success is, living your truth, sharing it. Heard melodies are sweet, but those unheard are sweeter.
You can live your whole life not realizing that what you're looking for is right in front of you. If stars needed the sky's permission to shine, the universe would be a very dark place.
Talent is helpful in writing, but guts are absolutely essential.
If you're not falling down occasionally, you are just coasting.
Everything changes in my life, and the world stays the same.
The truth is incontrovertible. Malice may attack it, ignorance may deride it, but in the end, there it is.
A smiling lie is a whirlwind, easy to enter, but hard to escape.
Everything in this world happens with a purpose. You are born in this world with a purpose. You are chosen by purpose. To be human is to be broken, and broken is its own kind of beautiful. Sometimes it takes many attempts to succeed, but it takes a second to lose them all. Always plan well. Very occasionally, you pay really close attention. Life doesn't suck. There is nothing good in this world that does not have some filth in its origin. Change your life today. Don't gamble on the future. Act now without delay.
I know the joy of fishes in the river through my own joy as I go walking along the same river.
What good is the warmth of summer without the cold of winter to give it sweetness? If you've got the truth, you can demonstrate it. Talking doesn't prove it. We don't get to choose what is true. We only get to choose what we do about it.
I cannot teach anybody anything. I can only make them think. Find ecstasy in life. The mere sense of living is joy enough.
For every good reason there is to lie, there is a better reason to tell the truth. When it resonates and you feel it, then it was meant for you. Sometimes people are beautiful, not in looks, not in what they say, just in what they are. Imagination is cheap as long as you don't have to worry about the details.
Earth's crammed with heaven, but only he who sees takes off his shoes. To know that we know what we know, and that we do not know what we do not know, that is true knowledge.
Be the person that will take the first step towards personal success. You will be remembered for. Success is not how high you have climbed, but how you make a positive difference to the world.
Without subtle ingenuity of mind, one cannot make certain of the truth of their reports. I knew I was alone in a way that no earthling has ever been before.
If you don't want anyone to know about your existence, you might as well kill yourself. You're taking up space, air. Doing what I like to do, the way I like to do it, makes me happy. The dream was always running ahead of me. To catch up, to live for a moment in unison, was the miracle.
The truth is, like salt, men want to taste a little, but too much makes everyone sick.
When the going gets tough, put one foot in front of the other and just keep going. Don't give up. It doesn't matter what we are, it matters what we do.
Early to bed and early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise.
The life of the enemy. Whoever lives for the sake of combating an enemy has an interest in the enemy's staying alive. The goal is timeless. Chase the moment and you lose.
Until death itself comes, no calamity need be feared.
Appreciation has tremendous power. A beautiful thing is not beautiful until someone appreciates it.
The best knowledge is knowing yourself and your inner being. Even though the ship may go down, the journey goes on. Those who realize their folly are not true fools. Don't react. Cut them off silently.
When your intentions are pure, you don't lose people. They lose you.
Shoot for the moon. Even if you fail, you'll land among the stars.
Countless words count less than the silent balance between yin and yang. The truth knocks on the door and you say, "Go away, I'm looking for the truth." And so it goes away. Puzzling. The most common way people give up their power is by thinking they don't have any. Night is a time of rigor, but also of mercy. There are truths which one can see only when it's dark. I was bold in the pursuit of knowledge, never fearing to follow truth and reason, to whatever results they led.
For we can only know that we know nothing, and a little knowledge is a dangerous thing.
Our battered suitcases were piled on the sidewalk again. We had longer ways to go. But no matter, the road is life.
Nothing can be more hurtful to your heart than betraying yourself.
Life belongs to the living, and he who lives must be prepared for changes. Real courage is when you know you're licked before you begin, but you begin anyway and see it through no matter what. With an eye made quiet by the power of harmony and the deep power of joy, we see into the life of things.
From a certain point onward, there's no longer any turning back.
Something deep inside calls us to adventure and to brave the unknown. There is a bit of wilderness within all of us. Every story I create creates me. I write to create myself. Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. Success is a state of mind. If you want success, start thinking of yourself as a success. It's impossible to walk through solid rock. You have to walk between the molecules that make up the rock.
I had to philosophize. Otherwise, I could not live in this world.
All the papers that matter live off their advertisements, and the advertisers exercise an indirect censorship over news. We are seeds as well as parasites to the earth. We can either give or take, depending on our perception of growth. You're being judged no matter what, so be who you want to be. Never limit your view of life by any past experience. Every time you help someone to achieve success, you become more successful. Always help to lift the burdens of others. Things change, and friends leave. Life doesn't stop for anybody.
Most of what matters in our lives takes place in our absence.
Life is a blank canvas, and you need to throw all the paint on it you can.
Keep a little fire burning, however small, however hidden.
Heaven wheels above you, displaying to you her eternal glories, and still your eyes are on the ground. In nature, everything is interconnected and woven together in a delicate dance of harmony and balance. The only part of you that hurts when you're given the truth is the part that lives on lies. It has become appallingly obvious that our technology has exceeded our humanity. In a very real sense, we have two minds, one that thinks and one that feels.
If you're treated like a puppet, find a new ball of string.
Who we are in the present includes who we were in the past.
Remember, man does not live on bread alone. Sometimes he needs a little buttering up.
The only difference between money and blank paper is that I can use blank paper for campfire.
If I can stop one heart from breaking, I shall not live in vain.
Excessive praise arises from the same bigotry matrix as excessive criticism. Be the kind of person who catches the shit before it hits the fan, not the one who scrapes it off afterwards. The biggest mistake we could ever make in our lives is to think we work for anybody but ourselves.
In fact, the truth cannot be communicated until it is perceived.
Perhaps I know best why it is man alone who laughs. He alone suffers so deeply that he had to invent laughter.
I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work.
If you can't feel gratitude when you are in need, the feeling of the need would never leave you, even if it is fulfilled. Being liked for the way you looked is worse than not being liked at all. Integrity is a powerful force, keeping you alive to others long after you've left their presence. The flower that blooms in adversity is the rarest and most beautiful of all.
Begin by seizing something which your opponent holds dear. Then he will be amenable to your will.
Failure is instructive. The person who really thinks learns quite as much from his failures as from his successes. I don't fit into any stereotypes, and I like myself that way.
You ask me if I keep a notebook to record my great ideas. I've only ever had one. It was easier to ask for forgiveness than it was to get permission.
The trouble with denial is that when the truth comes, you aren't ready.
A true genius admits that he knows nothing.
We cannot be sure of having something to live for unless we are willing to die for it.
In the end, you have to choose whether or not to trust someone.
Successful people enjoy the journeys they embark on, irrespective of whether they reach their destination or not.
Anything not worth doing is worth not doing well. Think about it. Do not swallow bait offered by the enemy. Do not interfere with an army that is returning home.
Hearts are breakable, Isabel said, and I think even when you heal, you're never what you were before. Doubt kills more dreams than failure ever will.
Your time is way too valuable to be wasting on people that can't accept who you are.
The aim of art is to represent not the outward appearance of things, but their inward significance. If you have joy in your heart, even the most mundane moments will become extraordinary. Try telling the truth for a whole week, and just see how much trouble you get in. Spies cannot be usefully employed without a certain intuitive sagacity. In truth, Freud sees nothing and understands nothing.
No one else has ever opened doors for me. I opened them myself.
To tell the truth is very difficult, and young people are rarely capable of it. I was lost yesterday, I am found today, and I will be forgotten tomorrow. It is better to be alone than in bad company. Fault always lies in the same place, with him weak enough to lay blame. If life gives you any trouble, punch it in the face. A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials. Few among men are they who cross to the further shore. The others merely run up and down the bank on this side. No matter what happened yesterday, it is insignificant when compared to what lies within the core of your being today. Virtuous people often revenge themselves for the constraints to which they submit by the boredom which they inspire. Nevertheless, life and death are mysterious states, and we know little of the resources of either.
If a craftsman wants to do good work, he must first sharpen his tools.
A sage steers by the bright light of confusion and doubt. Nobody can go back and start a new beginning, but anyone can start today and make a new ending. Don't quit, suffer now, and live the rest of your life as a champion. Truth is not as pompous and romantic as myth, but it has the immeasurable value of being the truth.
He who steals a belt buckle pays with his life. He who steals a state gets to be a feudal lord.
Someone needs to fight, someone needs to sacrifice, someone needs to inspire, someone needs to be a hero.
The butterfly counts not months, but moments, and has time enough. In my deepest wound, I saw your glory, and it dazzled me.
Feet sandaled with dreams tread paths of vision, leading to wisdom's sharp peaks.
Your direction is more important than your speed.
Just one small positive thought in the morning can change your whole day. Amateurs sit and wait for inspiration. The rest of us just get up and go to work. One thing I've learned in life is that the more quiet you are, the less attention you will get from invaluable people. In the face of adversity, we have a choice. We can be bitter, or we can be better. Those words are my North Star.
There's more to life than simply increasing its speed.
Use the wings of the flying universe. Dream with open eyes. See in darkness. I postpone death by living, by suffering, by error, by risking, by giving, by losing. Believe in your infinite potential. Your only limitations are those you set upon yourself.
living never wore one, so much as the effort not to live.
Everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth. Success seems to be largely a matter of hanging on after others have let go. Believe in sudden shifts in life. You never know what is coming for you. One can be the master of what one does, but never of what one feels. You must work in the dark for your light to shine.
If you remember me, then I don't care if everyone else forgets.
Your world of poverty can be recreated to that of affluence simply by speaking the prince's language. Don't be afraid of your fears. They're not there to scare you. They're there to let you know something is worth it.
We say later, later, until later becomes too late, and all we can think of is if only.
The bird of paradise alights only upon the hand that does not grasp. We never realize just how many other lives we can help when their paths cross our own. To establish that a rule is likely to be true, one must try to prove it false. I've heard that the soul often recognizes truth when it hears it, even if the mind does not. You better hide that heart of yours. Won't lead you anywhere you want to go. Perhaps the logical conclusion of everyone looking the same is everyone thinking the same.
We cannot change the cards we are dealt, just how we play the hand.
The task of modern man is not to find his inner self, but to create himself.
Time cannot put anything in your hands until you let go of the time.
Free your mind from routine. Keep your brain somewhere else.
Write it on your heart that every day is the best day in the year. One day, in retrospect, the years of struggle will strike you as the most beautiful.
Life is like a beautiful melody, only the lyrics are messed up. Sometimes what seems like a destination is actually a bridge to a new chapter. There's no moment more precious than the exact moment you are living now. Man is always prey to his truths. Once he has admitted them, he cannot free himself from them.
Life isn't about finding yourself. Life is about creating yourself.
In life, you need either inspiration or desperation.
The big lesson in life, baby, is never be scared of anyone or anything.
Every single person is sacred. Sacred means special, precious, a treasure of true beauty. That means you. Everything that happens before death is what counts.
Don't stop when you are tired. Stop when you are done. Just go with it, he thought. You won't figure out anything if you give in to fear.
You are willing to die, you coward, but not to live.
The expert in anything was once a beginner. The reason why the universe is eternal is that it does not live for itself. It gives life to others as it transforms.
The first step towards getting somewhere is to decide that you are not going to stay where you are.
If you believe you can, you might. If you know you can, you will.
I wonder how many people don't get the one they want, but end up with the one they're supposed to be with. Motivation is what gets you started. Habit is what keeps you going. The only thing that can make you feel unexplainable feelings is by loving unconditionally. There were many terrible things in my life, and most of them never happened. Live life as though nobody is watching, and express yourself as though everyone is listening. Life is dear to every living thing. The worm that crawls upon the ground will struggle for it. The strongest people are not those who show strength in front of us, but those who fight battles we know nothing about. You are confined only by the walls you build yourself. It's no use going back to yesterday, because I was a different person then.
Life is too short when you think of the length of death.
Don't part with your illusions. When they are gone, you may still exist, but you have ceased to live. The goal of education is to enable individuals to continue their education.
Life is pain. Anyone who says otherwise is selling something.
I like shape very much. A novel has to have shape, and life doesn't have any. Today is the oldest you've ever been, and the youngest you'll ever be again. All you know is what you think you know, but that isn't always what's real.
We can't avoid reasoning. We can only avoid doing it well.
It is error only, and not truth, that shrinks from inquiry.
If you don't build your own dream, someone will hire you to build theirs.
A wise man gets more use from his enemies than a fool from his friends. If you don't learn to laugh at life, it'll surely kill you, that I know.
My fear was not of death itself, but a death without meaning.
Never mourn the loss of innocence, because it always brings the much greater gain of wisdom. We all have negative thoughts now and then, but we can choose not to dwell there and not to let them control us. Owning land is like owning the ocean or the air. No one owns land.
Judging is the cause that creates the effect of choosing. Here, in this quiet place we own, worlds are born. Run the voodoo down.
Everything you want in life is a relationship away.
It does not matter how long you live, but how well you do it. There's nothing in the world that breeds success like success. Beyond the fiction of reality, there is the reality of the fiction.
The torch of doubt and chaos, this is what the sage steers by.
Be grateful for what you already have while you pursue what you want.
Hate is nothing when weighed against survival. Great things are not done by impulse, but by a series of small things brought together. It does not do to dwell on dreams and forget to live. All men want, not something to do with, but something to do, or rather something to be. The truth was only another mask, even if it was the best fit, closest to skin and all that lay beneath.
Never regret a day in your life. Good days give happiness. Bad days give experience. Worst days give lessons, and best days give memories. I am thankful for all of those who said no to me. It's because of them I'm doing it myself.
I have never seen or heard of such a fish, but I must kill him. I am glad we do not have to try to kill the stars. Become totally empty. Quiet the restlessness of the mind. Only then will you witness everything unfolding from emptiness.
The desire to reach for the stars is ambitious. The desire to reach hearts is wise.
Like a running blaze on a plain, like a flash of lightning in the clouds, we live in the flicker. The world is wide, and I will not waste my life in friction when it could be turned into momentum. It's not that some people have willpower and some don't. It's that some people are ready to change and others are not. There's only so much emotional superglue in a person's soul that everything just stays broken. Everything existing in the universe is the fruit of chance and necessity.
Sometimes the questions are complicated and the answers are simple.
Never hold tightly onto the past, because it will only limit your ability to move forward. Normality is a paved road. It's comfortable to walk, but no flowers grow there. I never expect a perfect work from an imperfect man.
The flame that burns twice as bright burns half as long. Shoot for the moon. Even if you fail, you'll land among the stars. Choose to correct your mistakes rather than comparing it to others.